It's recording now. It's recording now. I was in a good mood. But guess what? We're doing this episode angry. Hey, motherfuckers. You're listening to the Bronze Metalist podcast. We're talking about Testament. Talking about fucking the New Order by Testament. And no, this is for sure not the second time we're recording this episode because I forgot to hit fucking record. Enjoy the episode,
motherfuckers.
Dipshit. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medalist podcast.
Today,
I'm Carol.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters, supposedly. We like metal. Oh. We like to talk about it. And sometimes when we talk about it for the purposes of recording it and putting on the internet, somebody forgets to press play
or record
rather. So they can record it and put it on the internet.
We did a
fucking shit.
We did a 46-minute long nothing podcast.
God damn it.
For nobody.
I cannot believe how fucking dumb I am.
You know what I love the concept of it in retrospect. The fact that we sat here in front of microphones with headphones on our heads for no reason.
I mean, look, we know for a fact about the two of us that we can sit and talk about metal for a while.
The
microphones are just here so that there is some level of organization for it. So I have an excuse to schedule a time to talk with my friend about metal that we like.
It's awesome.
It's a good excuse. I'm the type of person that requires structured hangout activities.
Yes, and this is that.
This is what that is for me. But sometimes,
things happen.
God damn it. So what's up? How you doing?
Well, I feel like we haven't talked in a while, Kale.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a little bit since we've talked about what we've been up to in the last week. Let me see if I remember the things that... Here's a game we could play. If we can remember each other's things.
Oh, geez.
So I'll start with you.
Okay.
So what you've been doing, you've been trying to ride the motorcycle, but it's been too cold.
Yeah.
It's been chilly out.
Right.
It's been a little too cold. And you haven't been able to really ride the motorcycle as much as you like. And a funny anecdote that you mentioned about your motorcycle is that when it's warm enough for you to ride, your kids can ask you for just about anything they want as long as it can fit in your backpack because they know you will use going to get that as an excuse to go out and ride your motorcycle. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct, Kale. Thank you.
Wow. So the other thing that you mentioned, you were talking about how you were listening to a little bit of Faith No More because you had a bad day, you were kind of angry, and you needed something that was sort of in the middle. You didn't want something that was too aggressive or depressing or whatever, something like you tried listening to Cattle Decapitation, and that was a bit too much. You tried listening to some pop music, that was a little too little. So you found Faith No More. It was right in the middle. One of the albums you were listening to was The Real Thing, which, as we discussed, is basically the Faith No More album.
Sort of. It's slightly inaccurate because The Real Thing was the most popular album.
Well, that's what I meant.
Angel Dust is the most critically acclaimed.
Okay, that was the other one you listened to was Angel Dust.
Yeah.
I forgot. So what have I been up to, OJ?
You've been listening to more Panopticon.
Yes.
A lot because now your listenership for Panopticon is always in some state of ebb and flow.
Yes.
But you're always listening. You listen to them more this time of the year because of the weather and that sort of thing.
Yes. Do you remember what the track is called?
The 20-minute track, the new track. I forgot what the track is called.
Track is called Rune's Heart.
Right,
Rune's 20 minutes long. It's got a sad country section in the middle. It's neat.
Right, it's got acoustic guitars, not banjo, because if it was a more upbeat Transopticon song, it would have banjos in it, but this is a more introspective piece.
Absolutely.
So it has acoustic guitars in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitars. What else have I been doing?
Masturbating to granny porn.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Maybe you didn't say that.
No, I did not say that.
Oh, okay.
How did you know, though?
I don't appreciate the judgment just because you're right.
Doesn't mean I like it.
What else have you been doing? You've been there was a party in the daytime.
Yeah.
Here in your apartment building.
What have I been waiting for?
What have you been waiting for? The sweet release of death. No.
I mean, yes, but.
You're ready for headphones. You bought some headphones because you like to watch the TV and you like to have it loud, but you live in such a small apartment building with paper-thin walls that the volume would like to have it at would be too loud and rude, and you don't like being rude.
That is true.
Because you don't like intruding or being in other people's lives.
Yes. That is true. That is kind of a depressing way to put that.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm a private person. It's that I don't like being in other people's lives. That is the most depressing way you can put that. The most antisocial possible way.
Right.
But I like that. You don't like the phrasing.
You don't like the idea of your life touching theirs.
It's like food on a plate.
Right, food on a plate.
I don't want my peas to be touching my mashed potatoes.
Exactly. The notion of the social casserole is abhorrent. So you want to keep the volume low on your TV.
Absolutely.
And so you're going to have the Bluetooth headset.
Yes.
So you can listen.
It is also because my air conditioner is so fucking loud.
Right, sure. It's going to be that time of the year.
And to crank up my volume in order to hear it over the air conditioner would be to my ears, that would be rude. It would be a rude thing to do to crank it up. And especially like when I get home, I'm making dinner, and I'm walking into the kitchen and I turn the volume up even more. And I've been listening to, or I guess it's over, like I'm done watching it now. But like I subscribed to Dropout, which is College Humor's paid service.
Sure.
Because I wanted to watch Dimension 20. Because Critical Role is on a hiatus due to the pandemic. And it's like, I need D&D content in my life. So I subscribed to Dropout so I could watch more Dimension 20 stuff. And Dimension 20 Live, their audio is not like it's not it hasn't been hard limited or anything. Like it's there's a lot of quiet moments and a lot of loud moments, and so it's like I just turn it up loud as a default, but it feels rude at certain times when things get loud again. It's like the Lord of the Rings movies.
Sure.
Have you ever noticed how poorly normalized those are?
Oh my God. It's one of those things where you have, I wish someone would invent this function for the remote control. The dual volume button.
Yeah.
Here's the volume for the goddamn dialogue. They feel like they got to whisper at each other. Yeah.
Like you could adjust the sound settings like in a video game.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could adjust for the dialogue and then a moment later shit's exploding and your floor is rumbling.
I will say, because The Lord of the Rings is particularly bad about that.
Right.
Part of it, I think, is because the sound design, like movies can still have great sound design and have this problem. And I think part of it is because the sound design is great and it's designed to be played very loudly through speakers.
The bombastic areas should have bombast.
It should be loud. It's like when you go to a movie theater and there's a really intense movie going on next to you and you can feel the theater you're in shake.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that part about being in a movie theater. I haven't been in a movie theater in so long. Last movie I went to see was Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah. Yes. I went to see a movie 13 years before I was born.
23 years before you were born.
1996. It was 80.
1980.
I was born in 96.
Right. Yeah. So
I'm not that young.
16 years before you were born.
I'm not that young. I think I got it confused with maybe Raiders of the Lost Ark. which I think might have been 83. 82. Okay.
I was living in Southern California. My mom had a thing for Harrison Ford, so we went and saw that in the drive-in 9 times.
Hey, if you're gonna have a
fucking
thing,
great movie. So
if you're gonna have a thing for someone, you might as well have a thing for Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Come on, it's Harrison Ford. Anyway, that I don't know that we covered the stuff
and things,
the things that we treaded already.
Testament, yeah, the New Order, their second album.
New Order, Testament. They are a band. Oh, the beer we have. The beer that we're drinking more of, because this is the second time
we've recorded this fucking
podcast. Centennial IPA.
No, it's the first time we've recorded the fucking podcast.
You're right.
It's the second
You're
time
so
we've
right.
done the
You're
podcast.
so correct. So Centennial IPA, it's got angels on it, and it's got angels on it, so it has to do Testament, because like a testament of the Bible. And guess what's in the Bible? Yeah. There's angels. And they're real freaky looking. Have you ever read like the passages where they describe what angels look like?
They don't look like this.
They're so fucking weird. They're described as being so fucking weird looking.
A ball covered with eyes.
And they've got like 5 pairs of wings and like 14 legs and 3 heads. It's fucking bizarre. They're horrifying to be looking at, which is why when like they're introduced, the angel says, "Do not be afraid," because of course you'd be fucking afraid.
They're terrifying.
Holy shit. So yeah, that's just a neat little anecdote about angels.
Sure.
Anyway, so Testament, the New Order. It's an album that came out in 1988. It's the first CD you ever owned.
First CD I ever bought. Second CD I owned.
What was the first CD you owned?
And Justice for All.
Okay. And Justice for Bass.
And Justice for Bass. And yes. And Justice for Newstead.
It's the second week in a row I think we've talked about.
I think so.
Jason Newstead.
Yeah.
So this is the first CD that you bought.
And it came in the long cardboard box like CDs used to. So what I used to do is I used to cut that shit out and tape it to my wall.
Yeah.
Because it was a great looking piece of art.
So they had not invented the jewel cover yet.
Right.
Or like, have you ever seen the like weird like CD things with handles on them?
Yeah.
That they sell. They have those at record stores, but like nowhere else.
Right.
I don't know why that's a thing. Oh, I think they take
Walmart.
They take them out of that. Like it's a jewel case inside of that, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you bring it up to the counter, and they have a special device that goes
that takes it out. Yeah, takes it out, because that like they only have those at record stores. Right. And it's not just our record store. It's like I've seen people do like episodes of What's in My Bag at Amoeba in California, and yeah, they have those there too. It's like a universal anti-theft thing for CDs, I guess.
Weird.
They don't do that at a lot of other stores. Like,
no, they don't.
Any other store that sells CDs, they don't do that.
Nope.
But maybe, I think part of it is probably because a record store loss prevention is far more important to them when it comes to the music, because that's all that they sell.
Right. There isn't a very big stick holding that door open.
Exactly.
They can't eat up the loss at that one.
Also, I didn't know that our record store has been open this whole time, that they didn't close.
Yeah, they are open.
I didn't know that. So
should have been going there.
Yeah, I should go down there, because I'm sure their traffic has been down, and I love having a local record store. So
that would suck. I mean, I've just inside information about our local record store. They haven't turned a profit in nearly a decade.
But the owner of the store apparently is just like, yeah, I'd like having a record store.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
John is awesome.
Gonna keep shoving money in it, even though it's not making money.
John and Dylan, if you're listening right now, you guys are treasures in this community. Please continue doing what you're doing.
You're great, and I love your store.
Yeah.
And especially I need to go down there because I haven't spent my mandatory at least $150 for which would have been in April for Record Store Day.
Sure. Which they canceled.
Last year I spent so much fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to go down and be a patron.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been a while since I bought some records. I can't remember what the last record I bought was. I think it was probably that Falls of Raros.
Ah, Falls of Raros, right.
That was probably that one.
The last one you got was one I gave to you.
That's right. For the birthday.
For your birthday, which
it's on display. For my birthday, it's on display. See, all these jokes we didn't do last time.
These weren't. This is big. We should do a warm-up show. from here on out.
This is the type of content you get when we fuck up.
Yeah, you get a much tighter format because
absolutely
there's a whole lot less
buzz and ums. So we talked a lot about Bay Area thrash metal.
We did, which Testament is a part.
Yes, and many bands were a part of it. Seems to me that they made up probably like 2/3 of the entire thrash metal community.
They're out of the Bay Area.
At one point, there was such a massive scene in the Bay Area for thrash metal. Of course, the biggest Bay Area thrash metal band and the biggest metal band period is Metallica.
Yeah, well, they're only pseudo. I mean, they really. I mean, Lars and James started out of L.A. But.
Yeah, they started the band in L.A., but the lineup that made them famous happened in the Bay Area.
They moved up there to be near Cliff because Cliff was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Cliff Burton was like, "Hey, I'll be your bassist."
Then they kicked that fucking asshole lead guitar player to the band.
Yeah, and he went back to Los Angeles and made a little band called Megadeth.
Yeah. They were pretty big.
Yeah, and also joined up at that point was Kirk Hammett, of course, to replace Dave Mustaine. The other bands of note from the Bay Area, we've got Exodus, founded in 1979, of whom Kirk Hammett was a member. We've got Testament, who we're talking about right now, founded in 83. Death Angel, founded in 82.
Filipino band.
Possessed, founded in 1983.
Larry
also
Levant,
vying for the title of first death metal band. With Death, who actually Death has a connection to the Bay Area because Chuck Schuldiner lived there briefly and put together a lineup. And I think they wrote and recorded a record in the Bay Area before moving back to Orlando.
What album was that?
I don't remember. I don't recall. It was probably one of their. It was definitely one of their early ones.
Early ones, or was it like ones like?
It was one of the early ones because I believe
like Scream Bloody Gore early, or
I don't think so. I think it might have been Leprosy.
Oh, Leprosy. Okay.
Because I know by the time Steve DiGiorgio became involved with Death, they're back in Orlando.
Florida. Okay. Because Steve is from the Bay Area.
Yes. And Steve has been in most of these bands. Yeah. Also from the Bay Area, we've got Autopsy, founded in 1987.
Great band.
Sadist, who we talked about a few weeks ago, founded in 1984. And Violence, that we talked about sometime last year. Founded in 1985, who also includes band member Rob Flynn, who went on to found Machine Head alongside the other guy.
Alongside, oh Christ, I've forgotten his name. I should know his name. You've forgotten
the name in the last half hour.
I should know the shit off the top of my head. And for some reason, Phil Demmel.
We're doing a podcast speed run right now, basically.
Which is fine. Everybody's going to be like, wow, it's like they put it in a pot and they boiled away the shit.
It's like they actually gave a shit this time.
They seem polished.
Wow, it's crazy. So the members of Testament, we've got Chuck Billy on vocals. Holy fuck. This guy's got some pipes.
He does.
There is a song on this album that is a Aerosmith cover. Which one is that again? That's
I forgot the name of that one. Yes, I just got done saying, they were so polished.
I know.
And now we sound, Nobody's Fault?
Nobody's Fault, yeah. It's a Aerosmith cover. Yeah. And the reasons that Aerosmith cover ended up on this album is because they were on tour and realized that they had a deadline coming up according to their contract that said that they had to make another album soon. And
so they just slapped this together.
They slapped this piece of shit together. It is very entertaining to me when bands are like pressured to put put anything.
Just do anything. Just in your contract, you have to do something.
Just do anything, and they put together something really great. Yeah, like that is always entertaining to me. Or you could be like Carcass and just
Swan
be like,
Song. Yeah,
fuck it, fuck you. We're doing whatever.
And Swan Song, it's funny. It's one of those albums where I go, I really like.
Yeah, you actually like that.
This is actually a really good album.
You're one of the few Carcass fans that actually like Swan Song.
Well, it's because I get what they were doing.
Yeah, it is an entertaining part of the story of that album.
Yeah,
is like, oh, this was just a big middle finger to everybody. It's just fuck you, everyone. Here's this bullshit. But they slapped this together, and they also found in their contract that it needed to be at least 40 minutes, and they were not there yet.
Right.
So they're like, we'll do an Aerosmith cover and a couple of instrumental tracks, and it still only came out to 39 minutes and 22 seconds, but apparently the record label said, fuck it.
Fine,
we'll let you put this out. And it was pretty successful for them, and I think it pretty well reviewed. I think it's become a classic, certainly. And I'm glad to be talking about it. The other members of the band, we mentioned Chuck Billy, of course. Part of the reason why I went off on that tangent is because the Aerosmith cover they do, he does this really interesting, like, heightened impression of Steven Tyler.
Sure.
Which is vocally very impressive. He's got a lot of range. He can sing well. He can yell well. It's really neat to me. The other members of the band, amazingly guitarist Alex Skolnick.
Learn from Satch. Learn from Joe Satriani.
Joe Satriani, same guy who taught Kirk Hammett. And
Larry Lalonde.
Does Joe Satriani have something particular he teaches about wah pedals? On the subject of Kirk Hammett?
Probably not.
No, that wasn't a Joe Satriani thing. That was a Kirk Hammett special.
That was a personal thing.
Is the wah pedal? Yeah. Then we've got Eric Peterson on rhythm guitar and also doing the album art. We've got backing vocals. We've got Greg Christian on the bass, and we've got Louis Clemente on drums.
Yes.
I don't know if it needed that much accent. Clemente. Is that slightly racist?
It might be.
Probably. Moving on. My apologies. So do you think this album slaps?
Yes.
Yeah, it slaps. Slaps the shit. Fucking slaps ass. That was a joke we made last time.
It was.
About slaps ass. People don't talk about when people talk about albums and they say that they slap, they don't say that they slap ass.
They don't.
But it's slap ass.
And then I brought up the Nixon Pupils, who are a band locally minded, recorded down at Meyer Studio in Bismarck, where we record our album as well. And they did a thing where there was a mystery percussive sound on the album. Nobody knew what it was, but
they were slapping their asses.
They were slapping their own asses in front of microphones.
And I talked about how with a band name like that and with slapping their own asses, it seemed like a hardcore punk thing to do.
But no, they were a pop rock artist. Locally here from... Like I said, some punkish aspects to them.
Yeah, it seems like a punk thing to do. It's like, what will we do on this record? Right. Oh, we're gonna slap our own asses.
And a story I didn't tell you. At one point, the drummer went into North Broadway Mini Mart, which is now Loaf and Jug, but it was Mini Mart at the time, and he went in there and wearing only a paper bag over his head.
Oh boy!
And he bought a Yoo-Hoo and a Playgirl. And left.
I don't know why that brings Shia LaBeouf to mind. It's the paper bag thing. He was wearing a full suit other than the paper bag.
Right.
In that incident where he wrote, "I'm not famous anymore" on his face. But like, it seems like something some like whacked out celebrity would do.
Yeah.
Because it is a little bit too coherent for like a meth head of like they'd just be generally chaotic and uncomfortable to be around. Of course, nobody wants to see a naked guy walk into a store, but still. And what did you hear about what the people at the counter did?
No, I heard nothing. I heard nothing about any kind of ramifications. I heard nothing about a reaction. And that all I heard was that he went in and did that and left.
They sold him his Playboy.
He sold him his Playgirl.
Oh, it was Playgirl.
He bought.
Okay.
Yeah, he bought a magazine with naked dudes in it, and then left.
And some Yoo-Hoos. That's important.
And a Yoo-Hoo, right?
And a Yoo-Hoo. So I found a score. It was from Allmusic. They gave it a 90. I think that's pretty consistent with the quality of this record.
Yeah.
Good record.
It is.
What's your favorite song?
I'd say they're Trial by Fire, maybe Disciples of the Watch. The Preacher, also very good.
The Preacher is really great because right before the guitar solo, Chuck Billy loudly announces "Preach," and then it launches into an epic guitar solo, and it's fucking cool. It's a cool moment. It's great.
It is.
It's a great moment. It reminds me, just because this is another great like pre-cool something happening. There's a band called After the Burial. And they have a song called Laurentian Ghosts, which is my favorite After the Burial song because it's got a really cool like acoustic guitar intro. But also right before this really intense breakdown, they have an air horn that plays.
Sure.
And I get so fucking hyped about it every time. I love that breakdown. But yeah, it's just sort of, I love cool shit that gets announced before something else cool happens, whether it's a guitar solo or a breakdown. Like that's a big thing in metalcore and deathcore, is saying something like tough or like manly before.
Oh, they don't say the word tough.
No.
That would be funny if they yell manly.
Someone should do. I'm surprised Jared Alonji has not made that joke on one of his. I haven't listened to all of his new deathcore parody albums, so maybe that's on there. But I feel like someone should do that.
Balls.
We have them. And then China cymbal, ting, 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 dun, dun, dun. Just, something like that.
Or like that day in recording an album there with Van Halen. I have to imagine that Eddie was asking Dave, hey, what's the slide whistle for?
I'm not following.
It's in, is it Running with the Devil? Yeah, Running with the Devil. Suddenly, in the middle of it, for no reason.
Slide whistle. Why not? Why not? Slide whistle. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So what is like Mazcanata to Chewbacca?
A gold.
What metal? A gold.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a gold.
Yeah, gold.
Yeah, like the metal that Mazcanata gave to Chewbacca. It's a gold. And yeah, I'm also giving this a gold. This is a fucking great album. It slaps the shit. I talked the first time that we sat in front of the microphones and didn't record.
Yeah.
I talked about how I'm kind of acquiring a taste for thrash metal.
Right.
Not that I ever disliked thrash metal, but it just like
wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing. But I think it is becoming more and more my thing.
Well, I'm making you listen to more and more every week.
Yeah. It's I think when like on one of our first episodes together, I mentioned like I don't tend to, just as like a weird, it's not a hard rule that I had. It was just like, it seems like I don't like a lot of music that was made before I was born.
Right.
It just seemed to be the thing, but I'm slowly starting to get more and more into it. Like I really love death. I think death is amazing. And most of that was made before I was born.
Indeed.
I think the only thing that was made after I was born was maybe, when did Individual Thought Patterns come out?
Around the time you were born.
Yeah. And then was it Human?
Human was before Individual
Human
Thought
was
Patterns.
before. And then, of course, Sound of Perseverance was the very last one.
Yeah. That was made after you were born.
Yes. So I could listen to those two, but I've also become very fond of Leprosy and
spiritual healing.
And I like Scream Bloody Gore. It's just, it's not quite polished enough.
Well, it's because they're not there yet.
Yeah. Death had not quite become death.
Right.
Leprosy and spiritual healing is really, I think, where they hit their stride. But
I need to bring a Death Angel album here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
More Bay Area thrash, please. We'll get there someday. So, that is gold. So next week we're talking about Chemists. We talked about them a little bit last week.
Love their sound.
Their sound is amazing. We talked briefly about how the fact that their sound is amazing is a bit surprising considering they're signed to Nuclear Blast, who signs a fuckload of bands rather. The beers are starting to sing. I also haven't ate since lunch, so I'm starting to get a little bit drunk here.
Sure.
Which normally would happen well after the podcast was done recording. But I mean, circumstances are circumstances. So I forgot completely what it's talking about. Chemists, something to do with chemists.
And you're talking about Nuclear Blast.
Yeah. So Nuclear Blast has a frankly staggering. Oh, I thought that was I thought I heard like knocking at the door, but it was you knocking on the table. So Nuclear Blast has a frankly staggering catalog of bands, and because of that, they tend to recommend fairly out of the box like production because that's what they're willing to foot the bill for. I imagine it's decent digital production, but for some bands it's like, I wish it's more expensive, but it sounds so much better. And I think Chemist probably maybe pays for their own production.
I would like this album to be recorded on wax cylinder.
I don't know if they're that hipster. Chemist is a doom metal band and they fuck.
They do fuck.
They fuck so hard.
Fuck.
I mentioned this before, every album cover of theirs looks like it belongs airbrushed on the side of a van that is used exclusively for picking up chicks and also fucking in the van. It's like there's always a wizard, and like a hot chick in like boob bikini, like bikini plate mail, like it's from a Japanese RPG. Like it's the cool. Their style is so fucking cool. Their sound is so cool. They're so awesome. So we'll be talking about their very first album, Absolution,
for
2015.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that next week. Chemist is great. So if you like this sort of thing, because we're professionals, yes, there is a waveform over there.
Making sure we're still recording.
Yes, there is a waveform that is being generated. Because, you love to listen to two professionals who work in the audio field. Who would never fuck anything up.
No.
You like to listen to them.
This week alone, I've done at least one newscast with the microphone off. So this is not my first run at this week.
First run at this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, when you do one thing more than anybody else would ever do that thing, you're bound to also make more mistakes doing that thing than anybody else is doing that thing.
That is 100% true.
When I was recording with Jaron, there were multiple times where I forgot to change the audio input to the microphones we were using instead of the onboard microphone on my laptop I had at the time. I still have. It's just broken. My MacBook that's sitting over there being useless. But so I'm surprised it took us this long for this sort of thing to happen. But anyway, if you anticipate there being very few more mistakes like this, you might want to check us out on Libsyn or iTunes. We're on there, and on the mobile versions of those websites, Libsyn has, I believe, the podcast source. And you can find us on there and listen to us on the go. And iOS, of course, has their podcast app. And that comes standard on your phone when you get it. So
indeed,
there you go. We're also, of course, on the web browser version of Libsyn or on YouTube if that's your thing and that's the way you want to listen to it.
It's your thing. Oh,
do what you're gonna do. So until next week, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. Jesus Christ. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.
Let's finish this beer and go to bed.
Yeah. What was the joke we made afterwards last time?
I don't even remember. Because it was the joke we made last time was immediately followed by the look on your fucking face when the screen was blank.
God damn it. Oh my God. Oh, fuck.